Functions are representation for real-life situations. Function can be expressed and seen in our daily lives. The independent variable is usually represented by the variable x, while the dependent variable can be represented by y or f of x. This means that when there is a change in x, y or f of x will also change. We can use mathematical models to represent real-life situations using functions. A mathematical model is a function that represents relationships between two or more quantities. Let us try to create mathematical models to represent the following real-life situation using functions, including piecewise function. Let's have example 1. A meal costs 40 pesos. Create a mathematical model given a function c of x that can represent the cost of buying x meals. First, let's have the given. X is the number of meals bought. 40 pesos, that is the cost of each meal. C of x, that is the cost of buying x meals. We don't know how many meals, that's why we just represent it with x meals. Remember that the cost of buying x meals depends on the number of meals you buy. For the solution, since c of x depends on the number of meals x bought, and each meal is worth 40 pesos, then our mathematical model is c of x equals 40x. 40, that is the cost of each meal. X, that is the number of meals. And when multiplied, that will result to c of x, which is the cost of buying x meals. Where 40 is the constant price, multiplied to x. 40, x, the number of meals bought. In this sense, as the number of meals increases, the cost also increases. So if you bought 2 meals, which is x equals 2 meals, then the cost of buying these 2 meals is 40 times 2, which is equal to 80 pesos. You will pay 80 pesos for buying 2 meals. And if you bought 5 meals, then the price you will pay is 200 pesos. Hence, c of x is equal to 40x is the mathematical model. Let's have the next example. An hour of work costs 80 pesos. Create a mathematical model given a function s of x that can represent the cost of x hours worked. Given, x is the number of hours worked. 80 pesos is the cost of an hour of work. 1 hour equals 80 pesos. S of x equals the cost of the number of hours worked. Remember that the cost of the number of hours worked depends on the number of hours you worked. For the solution, since S of x depends on the number of hours worked and an hour of work costs 80 pesos, then our mathematical model is S of x equals 80x. 80 is the cost of an hour of work. X, that's the number of hours worked. S of x, that is the cost of the number of hours worked. Where 80 is the constant price multiplied to x, the number of hours worked. In this sense, as the number of hours worked increases, the cost also increases. So if you worked 3 hours, then you will receive a salary or cost of 240 pesos. And if you work 8 hours, that would be 80 times 8. So you will receive 640 pesos for working 8 hours. Let's have the third example. A cell phone user is charged 300 pesos monthly for a particular mobile plan, which includes 100 free text messages. Messages in excess of 100 are charged 50 cents each. Create a mathematical model given a function a of x that can represent the cost a cell phone user pays for the x number of text messages sent each month. Given, x is the number of text messages sent. A of x is the cost to pay by a cell phone user. 300 pesos is the mobile plan cost, which includes 100 free text messages. 0.50 cents, this is the additional cost in excess of 100 free text messages. So for the solution, we will have the step 1. For the independent variable, we will identify the intervals of x. X is the independent variable, which is the number of text messages sent. We have 2 conditions. First is for 100 text messages, and its equivalent interval is x is greater than 0 but is less than or equal to 100. This represents 2 text messages, which is from 0 to 100. In excess of 100 text messages, which is the second condition, the interval is x is greater than 100. This represents 2 text messages greater than 100. Step 2. Dependent variable. Identify the cost, which is a of x, the cost to be paid by the customer. We have 2 conditions also for this. We have first cost, which is 300 pesos. That is if the text messages sent is from 0 to 100 text messages. And we will have another cost, which is 300 plus 0.50x minus 100 if the text messages sent is greater than 100. As you notice, we have here the quantity x minus 100. X represents text messages greater than 100, and we will subtract 100 since this 100 represents the 100 free text messages. What is left after deducting is the excess to the 100 free text messages, which will be charged 50 cents. That's why we will multiply their difference to 50 cents. Then we have the third step, which is to create the mathematical model. This means that a of x has 2 formula because of the 2 conditions of x. This is an example of a piecewise function. Hence, our mathematical model is a of x equals 300 if x is greater than 0 but is less than or equal to 100, and 300 plus 0.50 times x minus 100 if x is greater than or equal to 100. X is greater than 0 but is less than or equal to 100 represents 0 to 100 messages sent, which actually costs 300 pesos. If you have sent messages more than 100, then we will use the second formula. Because x greater than or equal to 100, this represents 2 text messages sent after 100 free text messages or more than 100 free text messages. And the formula to use will be 300 plus 0.50 times x minus 100. So if you sent 110 text messages, then your x is greater than 100, then we will use the formula c of x equals 300 plus 0.50 times the quantity x minus 100. For the computation, we have c of x equals 300 plus 0.50. We will change x to 110 text messages you sent minus 100. Then we will have 300 plus 0.50 times 10. 10 is the difference of 110 and 100. Then we will have c of x equals 300 plus 5. 5 is actually the product when you multiply 0.50 times 10. And so the total cost of your mobile plan when you sent 110 text messages is 305 pesos. Hence, our mathematical model, piecewise function a of x equals 300 if x is greater than 0 but is less than or equal to 100, and 300 plus 0.50 times the quantity x minus 100 if x is greater than 100 is correct. Let's have the fourth example. A courier company charges 100 pesos per package weighing 2 kilograms or less. They charge 15 pesos for each additional kilogram or a fraction of a kilogram. Write a piecewise function that gives the cost for shipping a package c of x weighing x kilograms. Let's have the given first. X is equal to the weight of the package in kilograms. C of X, that is the cost for shipping a package. 100 pesos, that is the cost for shipping a package 2 kilograms or less. 15 pesos, this is the additional cost per kilogram in excess of 2 kilograms weight of a package. So for the solution, again, we have step 1. For the independent variable, we will identify the intervals of X, the weight of the package in kilograms. For 2 kilograms or less, the interval would be X is greater than 0, but is less than or equal to 2. In excess of 2 kilograms, our interval would be X is greater than 2. Our second step would be the dependent variable, which is the cost, C of X, the cost for shipping a package. We have 2 conditions for this. We will pay 100 pesos if the weight of the package is greater than 0 but is less than or equal to 2. That is, X is greater than 0 but is less than or equal to 2. And we will pay 100 pesos plus 15 times the quantity X minus 2 if the weight of the package is greater than 2 kilograms. That is, X is greater than 2. As you notice again, we have here the quantity X minus 2. X represents packages weighing more than 2 kilograms. And we will subtract 2 kilograms so that we will know how much is the exact weight, which will be charged 15 pesos each kilogram. So to create the mathematical model, this means that C of X has 2 formula because of the 2 conditions of X. Hence, our mathematical model is C of X equals 100 if X is greater than 0 but is less than or equal to 2, and 100 plus 15 times the quantity X minus 2 if X is greater than 2. X is greater than 0 but is less than or equal to 2. This means packages that weigh more than 0 to 2 kilograms. And we will pay only 100 pesos for that. If the packages weigh more than 2 kilograms, then our formula for the cost of shipping would be 100 plus 15 times X minus 2. This is the cost of shipping a package more than 2 kilograms. So this is now the piecewise model. So I hope you understand. And if you have questions, just message me through Facebook, and I'll be there to give you or answer your clarifications. Thank you.